New pitch clock rules remain a chore for the Cubs and White Sox 1 week into Cactus League games. 1 week into Cactus League games, the Chicago Cubs and White Sox weigh in on the implementation of the pitch clock and its effect on games. Mesa, Arizona, Glendale, Arizona. Drew Smyly's head dropped when he saw the pitch clock violation signal from the plate umpire. Smyly at times struggled to get on the same page with Chicago Cubs catcher Tucker Barnhart during their first game working together. Twice he shook off the call heard through PitchCom during his Cactus League start Tuesday against the Milwaukee Brewers. Consequently, the timer expired before Smyly delivered the pitch, resulting in a ball. Advertisement: the pitch clock was way more of an adjustment than I thought it would be for me, to be honest with you, Smyly said. I feel like I'm a pretty fast pitcher, but I felt myself definitely being rushed throughout those 2 innings. It felt hard to get through a sequence. If you shake twice, by the 3rd time, the clock's at 1. Pitcher and catchers are going to have to do a much better job game planning before the start. Advertisement: Smyly rated as the quickest worker among Cubs qualified pitchers last season, according to Baseball Savant. With nobody on base, Smyly's pitch timer equivalent, 9.5 seconds, fell well within the 15-second limit, and at 14.3 seconds, he also was estimated to be within the 20-second restriction with runners on base. Smyly revealed after his spring debut Wednesday that Barnhart didn't know what pitch was coming 4 or 5 times because there wasn't enough time on the pitch clock for them to agree on the call. Working within the constraints of the pitch clock remains a work in progress for the Cubs and White Sox 1 week into Cactus League games. White Sox players practice with a pitch clock during a pregame workout on February 26 at Camelback Ranch in Glendale, Arizona. Jason Wamsgans/Chicago Tribune, Sox second baseman Elvis Andrus had the clock on his mind before his first at-bat of the spring Monday at Camelback Ranch. I made sure everybody can see I was there, in the batter's box, with 20 more seconds, Andrus said. Even the plate umpire noticed. The umpire was like, "Elvis, you have 20 seconds, Andrus said with a laugh. I was like, "Believe me. I have to get used to this." Andrus had a process behind the arrival. "I would rather be super early than me rushing to home plate," he said. Advertisement: don't miss how the Chicago Cubs are handling the spring workloads for pitchers Brandon Hughes and Keegan Thompson. Some batters, such as Sox outfielder Eloy Jimenez, sliced out portions of a pre-bat routine. In Jimenez's case, he cut his greeting to the plate ump and catcher, which was a light tap of the bat on the leg to each. Much of the spotlight has focused on the pitcher and the hitter. Catchers also are adjusting. "The first game was kind of going quick on me," Sox catcher Sebe Izavla told the Tribune. "I felt like I had less time than I actually did. I had way more time than I thought and remembered from the minor leagues. PitchCom makes it easier. There's a lot of things that we have that we didn't have in the past to make the time go quicker and speed up in between pitches and at-bats." He said his most recent game felt back to normal, slowed things down, and was able to process. Sox pitcher Lance Lynn made a similar point after his second spring start Thursday against the Colorado Rockies. "It's one of those things once you get used to it, it's fine," he said. "It's pretty much a ticking clock. Once you get used to it over there counting down, then you'll be fine." Advertisement players have noticed some of the brisk games, a couple lasting around 2 hours, 30 minutes. "You got to lock in," Sox shortstop Tim Anderson told the Tribune with a laugh. Anderson recently participated in a commercial highlighting some of the rules. "It's good. You get in, get what you need, and compete." Why violations have occurred: expand autoplay image. One of 96 White Sox reliever Reynaldo Lopez jokes with teammates before their matchup against the Mariners at Camelback Ranch on February 27, 2023. Jason Wamsgans/Chicago Tribune, Reynaldo Lopez glanced at a runner at first and then came set in the 3rd inning Monday against the Seattle Mariners. The Sox reliever was stopped before getting off a pitch, called for failing to deliver to the plate within 20 seconds. In his first game this spring, Lopez said he kind of looked at the clock all the time, kind of freaking out. but overall, he said the experience was good. Lopez acknowledged in the past he wasn't known for being the swiftest to the plate. He's adapting accordingly. Advertisement, so now we have to be no thinking, just sign and go, Lopez said. Manager Pedro Griffel has welcomed miscues with any of the new rules as teachable moments. There have been a few mistakes, but we're also getting creative within the rules, which is what every other club is trying to do, he said. We meet as a staff. We meet with players. We meet with the guys that are pitching and the catchers. Everybody has really good ideas. These rules are going to play a factor in this. And it's not just the violations. It changes the game a little bit. It changes the pace of the game. It changes the focus of the game. The one timeout for the batter can become a little bit of an issue if it's not taken at the right time. Disengagements, stolen bases are up. Percentages of stolen bases are up. We're just now starting to get the info on how it's affecting the game, which just gives us information on how we need to continue to prepare for whatever the game is going to bring to us once the regular season starts. Don't miss, all of his stuff has been very sharp. Chicago White Sox starter Michael Kopech sees benefit of changeup work. Nearly all of the Cubs' clock violations 9 games into the exhibition schedule have come against their pitchers, some of whom had it occur in their first spring game with the timer. 2 resulted in a walk, an outcome the Cubs certainly want to avoid once games matter. Hayden Wesneski committed a violation in the second inning Wednesday on a 3-ball count. It resulted in a walk for the Mariners' Evan White to put 2 runners on with nobody out. Wesneski got out of it but afterward wasn't sure why he had gotten dinged. Advertisement, I'll get used to it, Wesneski said. I didn't really keep track of the clock. After that I got into the groove of, look at the time and then go versus just feeling the game out. Because I felt like I was fast, but I guess I wasn't. Cubs reliever Rowan Wick also was charged with a walk in the 5th inning Thursday. Barnhart had called time behind the plate, which isn't allowed under the new rules unless it's immediately followed by a mound visit by the catcher or stepping in front of home plate to give the defense signs. A pitcher can step off the mound if nobody is on base, as Wick did, but the pitch clock doesn't stop and the ball still must beat the timer. We talked about a violation in the end, it's a ball, so violation makes it sound like it's a lot worse than it is, but the ones that we really want to avoid are the 3-2 counts, pitching coach Tommy Hotovy told the Tribune. Those are the type of things we're talking through and working through, obviously. Guys are starting to get a feel of how to be able to hold the baseball using the clock. A Cubs player warms up in the on-deck circle with the new pitch clock counting down on the wall during a Cactus League game against the Giants on February 25 in Mesa, Arizona. Jason Wamsgans /Chicago Tribune/TNS, the Cubs could develop some sort of system to aid a pitcher when the clock nears 0. Smiley believes it might be necessary for pitchers to have a default pitch to resort to if they can't get on the same page in time so the catcher at least knows what is coming. Perhaps that go-to emergency pitch changes every inning or game, Smiley suggested, to ensure the opposition doesn't key in on it. Or the pitcher could do something on the mound to signal what to go with, Hotovy said. Of course, if a pitcher throws 4 pitches and the first 3 were shaken off, the battery tandem automatically would know the pitch call. Don't miss, column, Cubs and White Sox are adapting to new MLB rules, including the pitch clock. What else might Theo Epstein have in store? Another alternative is having the pitcher also wear a pitch-comm device to call his pitch, though Hotovy is leery of that setup because the pitcher and catcher could be pressing the buttons at the time and cause confusion. The Cubs have not tried that option in a Cactus League game, preferring to see how they can get through a game with the catcher leading. Advertisement, we have to get past the fact that you don't have to be on the rubber waiting to get the signal, Hotovy said. Catchers are hitting pitch-comm buttons early, and so as long as the catchers are giving the signs early, it shouldn't be a problem. If we're letting the cadence of the game dictate when we push it instead of throw the ball